It was the morning of Friday, February 13th, 1976, a quiet Lagos dawn that carried no warning of tragedy. The sun rose pale over the lagoon, and the city stirred to life, unaware that history was preparing to weep. General Murtala Mohammed, Nigeria's head of state, was running late for work. He had slept lightly the night before, restless as always, his mind pacing between reform and responsibility. At 37, he ruled with the urgency of a man who knew time was not on his side. He had no outriders that morning, no armored convoy, just his black Mercedes-Benz 230, his aide-de-camp and his driver. The general trusted his people, perhaps too much. As his car left Ikoyi and approached the Federal Secretariat, destiny waited in ambush. From a yellow Peugeot 504 emerged Lieutenant Colonel Buka Suka Dimka, a man who had once sworn allegiance to the same flag Murtala carried in his heart. Without warning, Dimka and his men opened fire. Bullets shattered glass and flesh in seconds. The head of state slumped, his uniform soaked in blood. The leader of Africa's boldest reformist government, silenced in broad daylight. Nigeria froze. Radios crackled with confusion. Then a trembling voice broke through. "Fellow Nigerians, the Supreme Military Council has been overthrown." It was Dimka's voice, broadcasting from Radio Nigeria, announcing what he claimed was a revolution to save Nigeria from corruption. But even as his words echoed through the airwaves, loyalist troops led by General Theophilus Danjuma and Lieutenant General Olusegun Obasanjo were already moving. Within hours, the coup began to collapse. Murtala's body was taken to Dodan barracks, where silence hung like smoke. Soldiers wept openly. In that single act of betrayal, Nigeria had lost not just a leader, but a vision. One that had promised discipline, reform, and dignity. Murtala was buried in his hometown of Kano with full military honors, mourned by millions. But Dimka's story did not end there. For weeks, he was Nigeria's most wanted man. He fled through the forests and villages of the north-central region, reportedly seeking refuge among old allies in Benue. Yet betrayal, which he had sown, found him in return. In March 1976, he was captured in Akabaliki, betrayed by those he thought loyal. At his special military tribunal in Lagos, Dimka appeared gaunt but unrepentant. Evidence tied him beyond doubt to the assassination. When the tribunal played the tape of his radio broadcast, the hall went silent. He was sentenced to death alongside 37 others. On May 15, 1976, at Kirikiri prison, they were executed by firing squad. Dimka refused a blindfold. The man who had once spoken of saving Nigeria faced his own end with grim defiance. Yet behind his rebellion lay unanswered questions. Was Dimka truly acting alone, or was he a pawn in a deeper web of resentment? Some whispered that General Yakubu Gowon, Murtala's predecessor, then living in exile in London, had known of the plot. The British government quickly expelled Gowon, though no concrete evidence emerged. Others suspected the hand of foreign powers, uneasy with Murtala's bold anti-imperialist stance, especially his defiance of Western influence and his commitment to African liberation movements. But while speculation brewed, Nigeria moved on. Leadership passed to General Olusegun Obasanjo, Murtala's second-in-command, a calm, strategic man who inherited both the government and the ghost of his fallen friend. Obasanjo vowed to honor Murtala's legacy, to complete his reforms and guide the nation back to civilian rule. Over the next 3 years, Obasanjo consolidated Murtala's policies, advanced the plan to move Nigeria's capital to Abuja, and prepared for a democratic transition. On October 1, 1979, under a clear Lagos sky at Tafawa Balewa Square, Obasanjo fulfilled that promise.
Before thousands of cheering citizens, he handed power to Shehu Shagari, Nigeria's first executive president. It was the first peaceful transfer of power from military to civilian hands in Nigeria's history, a symbolic act that closed the painful chapter with hope. The circle was complete. The dream Murtala had begun of a disciplined, self-reliant and democratic Nigeria had outlived him. Today, decades after that bloody morning in Ikoyi, Murtala Mohammed's name endures. His portrait graces the 20 naira note. Lagos International Airport bears his name. His speeches are still quoted by those who yearn for integrity and leadership. He ruled for only 200 days, yet his shadow stretches across generations. Murtala was the fire that burned too brightly to last. Dimka, the soldier consumed by ambition and resentment. Obasanjo, the reluctant statesman who steadied the flame. Together, they formed a tragic triad in Nigeria's turbulent march towards democracy. One bullet changed the course of a nation. But from that death came the first breath of its rebirth. And though his life ended at the Secretariat Junction, Murtala Mohammed lives on, in the nation's conscience, and in the enduring belief that one man's courage can awaken a people.